our second special guest tonight. Thank you. So,
todavía tengo que aprender un poquito, eres más femenina que yo, Dios mío.
Do you want to translate that?
Hello? Yeah, okay. Apparently I'm more feminine than she is.
Okay. Janet Namer, or Madrina as she is known by friends, family, and community, immigrated to the U.S. from Cuba during the Mariel boat lift in 1980. The Mariel boat lift was a mass immigration of Cubans who departed from Cuba's Mariel Harbor for the United States between April and October of 1980. To address their political and economic failure, the Cuban government announced that anyone who wanted to leave the island could do so. The Cuban government scheme decided to also exile prisoners, patients in mental health facilities, and anyone who identified or was perceived to be homosexual, the unwanted. Madrina says she knew since she was 5 that she wanted to live her life as a woman, but the oppression of queers in Cuba, especially the views of her mother, sent her into a closet of denial, anxiety, and a hopeless depression. It was a Cuban psychiatrist who provided her care that helped her find self-acceptance. For Janet, the Mariel boat lift was her way of figuratively and literally to escape or leave. With the help of a doctor, she was granted a letter and left Cuba on May 16, 1980. She first came to Miami and New York before settling in the Pilsen neighborhood of Chicago, here. It was here that she found her home and herself as a proprietor. She has owned and managed several buildings around the neighborhood. So people around the neighborhood know her as La Dueña. 18th and Laughlin, Cullerton and Carpenter are some of the places where she owns buildings. Through a string of events, she began to transition and has been a part of paving the way for many female impersonators, drag queens, and transgender women. She famously directed a drag review show at Mario's and Incas, popular Latino gay bars in the late 80s, early 90s. Please give a warm Vives Q welcome to Madrina Janet Namer.
Muchísimas gracias. Quiero que me permitas empezar esto a mi manera. No voy a cantar a mi manera. Primeramente quiero darle las gracias a todos ustedes que están aquí. Me siento afortunada que hayan personas como ustedes que estén dispuestos a escuchar mi historia. Quiero agradecer al señor Javier, a Laura Coto, que siempre me siguen, son los compañeros de mi estación de radio, en la que tengo un programa de radio los lunes, como algunas personas saben. Gracias, siempre ellos están apoyándome, así como Miguel, que no está aquí con nosotros, pero hay que mencionarlo. Sorry, se me olvidó.
First of all, I'd like to start off on my way. I would like to thank everybody for being here. I want to thank you for all the support, or the people who are supportive, who will come here to hear my story. I'd like to take the moment to thank Javier and Laura, who are my partners at the radio station where I work. They do the show with me on Mondays.
No solamente eres bello, tienes muy buena memoria.
Not only is she beautiful, but she has good memory.
Repito, me siento muy afortunada. En el año 1997, ya hace unos cuantos años, 15 años más aproximadamente.
She's been doing this for a few years now, since 1997.
Me siento afortunada porque en 1997 me hicieron también un periódico, me honró como me honran ustedes hoy en hacerme una entrevista.
In 1987, she was also honored to be on the cover of a newspaper. There was a newspaper story about her, and they honored her in very much in a similar way in which we're honoring her tonight.
This is the story. It's La Dama de Cuba, and it was in Apuntes Éxito newspaper. Everyone knows Éxito in Chicago in May 8, 1997.
No, May 9.
May 9.
Please, come on. In 2 days more, 62.
Okay.
Okay, so, well, empezamos.
Yes, we'll start. So, 34 years ago, on May 16, 1980, you left Cuba to Miami. You came to New York. You locked yourself up for 15 days. Can you share that story?
Okay. Fue muy difícil salir de Cuba. Yo me denomino como la negación de la negación.
It was very difficult to leave Cuba. I am the exception to the exception.
Yo me considero a mí misma como una negación de una negación, porque de momento tuve que hacer alarde de lo que había ocultado toda la vida, que era homosexual, que para poder salir de Cuba tenía que hacer esto, y era algo que yo había escondido y tratado de tapar por muchos años.
It was very difficult for me because in order for me to leave Cuba, I had to expose a part of me that I had hidden for a very long time. In order to leave Cuba, I had to acknowledge that I was homosexual, using her terms.
En esa época fue del Mariel que salieron muchas personas de Cuba, 100 y pico mil personas salimos de Cuba en esa época, y para poder salir de Cuba pues tenía que, porque Fidel ideó sacar la mayor cantidad de personas que él entendía que éramos escoria de la sociedad, éramos personas no vistas por la sociedad.
At the time, in order for them to leave Cuba, they had to acknowledge them. They were part of the unwanted. She had to, during the Mariel vote, a lot of people left, but they did have to receive some sort of permit in which Fidel Castro would allow them to leave, because really he wanted to get as most people who were the unwanted to leave the island.
En el 1968 fui presa por 1 año y 2 meses, era apenas un niño, y estuve sin juicio, sin nada por ese tiempo, por ser homosexual. Salí de ahí y traté de incorporarme lo mejor que pude a la sociedad, es decir, tratar de aparentar que era un hombre igual que todos los demás.
In 1968, I was incarcerated. While I was incarcerated, it was very difficult. I eventually left, and I tried to reintegrate myself into society to try to pass off as a man, so that most people would be able to see me as a man.
Fui presa por ser homosexual y estuve 1 año y 2 meses exactamente sin juicio, sin causa, sin nada.
I was incarcerated for being homosexual. I was there for about a year and 2 months, and I had no control over it.
So, cuando salí de ahí empecé a luchar, a tratar de poner ronca mi voz, a tratar de caminar como un hombre, a tratar de vestir como un hombre, a aparentar totalmente que era un varón. Esto, pues como deben imaginarse, creó trauma en mí, más el que ya tenía de antemano.
So when I came out, I tried to make my voice deeper. I tried to carry myself as a man. I tried to dress more like a man. But of course, this caused a lot of trauma for me.
Ya anteriormente, cuando tenía 13 años, apenas unos 2-3 años anteriormente, había tratado de quitarme la vida, me tiré de un segundo piso en la escuela.
When I was 13, I ended up trying to commit suicide. I threw myself from the second floor story of my school.
Y inmediatamente después que salí de ese proceso, viene esta situación de que caigo presa. Cuando salgo, repito, trato de incorporarme a tratar de ser un hombre. Empiezo incluso a estudiar en las noches, en cursos avanzados. Yo había dejado el sexto grado, primer año de secundaria, y es decir, el séptimo grado, cuando esta situación, cuando caí presa, y cuando salgo, pues entonces empiezo a estudiar por las noches, a trabajar por el día, y así, cuando ya pues llega la fecha en que salgo, para no alargar esto, porque estoy haciendo una historia muy larga, cuando se da esta situación del Mariel, que fue en mayo 16, bueno, fue en abril que empezó esta situación, duró varios meses. Fidel aprovechó y sacó las personas de los hospitales, de las cárceles, y limpió el país, como quien dice, como ellos decían, y de lo que nos llamaron escorias en ese momento.
So it was after my suicide attempt when I was 13 that I ended up going to prison. After I was released, I tried to do everything possible to reintegrate myself into society. In fact, I was actually studying at night in advanced courses to try to continue. But to not make a long story short, during the time of the Maria boat lift, Fidel tried to make sure he got rid of as many people out of the island as possible who they thought that were not important.
Pues bueno, ya llego aquí, llego a Miami, estoy varios días en Miami, arreglando, organizando los papeles como inmigrante y todas estas cosas. Después llego a Nueva York, unos hermanos míos por parte de padre que yo no los conocía, y esto quiero decirlo rapidito, ese fue uno de los choques primeros que yo tuve de lo que era el desarrollo en este país, porque cuando yo llegué yo no tenía ninguna información de mis hermanos, teléfono ni nada.
So she went to Miami, and then eventually she reached to New York City, and there she came across with her father, and this was kind of a shock for her because she had not heard from her family members who were living in the United States in a very long time. She didn't have their phone numbers, she didn't have any ways of contacting them.
Y cuando yo llego a Miami, que llego, tengo un solo riñón, producto de la caída, me lo habían extirpado.
When she came, she really only had one kidney, and that was because after her fall, her suicide attempt, she had removed it. They removed it from her.
Cuando llego a Miami, trato de que me cojan pena, porque aquello era horrible, la cantidad de personas que estaban en Orange Balls y en todos esos lugares eran como campos de concentraciones. Y entonces yo dije, yo tengo que salir de alguna manera de aquí, y me quejé del riñón. Y entonces, cuando me dice una doctora, Namer, tú tienes un hermano médico, y yo, oh sí, me dice, tú tienes el teléfono. No, yo no lo tengo. Y ella me dice, oh, no te preocupes, yo doy con él. Yo dije, perdón, ¿cómo va a ser esto? Y por el apellido, doctor Namer, dio con mi hermano, y yo me quedé, wow, ¿cómo es esto? Aquí tienen a todo el mundo controlado. Eso fue un choque muy de lo que el avance en Cuba. Yo todavía no había computadoras, no había nada en Cuba. Eso fue fuerte para mí eso.
It was very strong for me because the groups that they had, they actually were almost like concentration camps, and it was a terrible place to be. So in order for me to try to get out, I complained about my kidney. And when I met the doctor, she told me, "Oh, it's your kidney. Do you have a brother who's a doctor?" And I said, "Yes, I have a brother who's a doctor." So, do you have his number then? I told her I don't have her number. and she told me, oh, that's okay, we'll find him. And it turns out that they found a doctor because of my last name, and they were able to connect me. So it was a bit of a shock for me.
Yeah, so it was a shock that you had found your brother here in the U.S., not knowing how everything would be controlled here in the U.S.
No lo conocía, incluso mucho mayor que yo.
I didn't know him. He was actually a lot older than I was.
So then you go from New York, you don't stay there, but you come back to Chicago.
Ellos me llevaron entonces a Nueva York. Estuve 15 horribles días porque no conocía nada, no hablaba inglés, siempre era muy así. No me atrevía a salir a la calle, eso fue horrible.
So it took me to New York City. It was 15 terrible days. I didn't know English. I didn't know anyone. I was a little and
Loquita.
terrible.
So in 1984, you were living in Pilsen on Laughlin and were in a relationship with a man named Miguel Angel Gonzalez. This person was important because you described your transition as going to bed one night with a beard and a mustache, and the next day waking up dressed as a woman. Who is Miguel Angel Gonzalez, and what role did he play in your life? And Madrina, si lo podemos un poco más, un poco rapidito para que...
Más cortico,
todo.
ok, yo sé. Bueno, toda la vida quise, desde que tengo uso de razón, quise ser mujer. Yo nunca me sentí homosexual, que me gustaran los hombres como yo como hombre, sino yo me sentía como mujer y yo quería tener una relación con un hombre y casarme y tener niños y todo eso era a los 5 años. Aquello era imposible en Cuba. Ya cuando crecí, que entendí que era lo que yo era, que realmente me gustaban los hombres, que era homosexual, pues eso era imposible. En un país comunista, en un país represivo, pues era totalmente imposible. Y entonces cuando llego aquí, en el 1984, que por mediación de una amiga me empieza a decir cómo yo podía cambiar mi físico para convertirme en una mujer.
I would never see myself as a boy. I always felt that I wanted to be a woman, that I was a woman. In fact, when I was becoming attracted to men, I didn't see myself as wanting to be attracted to men as a man, but I want to have a relationship with a man as a woman. But of course, in a communist country, in a progressive country, being homosexual, being a woman, it wasn't possible. And it was only until I came to the United States that one of my friends helped me, that I was able to see that it was possible for me to live my life as a woman.
Al final de esta conversación les voy a enseñar unas fotos a ustedes en primicia. Por primera vez en mi vida me voy a atrever a hacer esto y ustedes van a entender por qué yo entendía que esto era imposible, que yo pudiera ser lo que hoy en día soy.
After this conversation, I will share with you some pictures in exclusivity of, I've never done this before, so that you can see why I believed it was impossible for me to become a woman.
Cuando conozco a este hombre, lo conozco en un bar muy conocido en la ciudad, la Cueva Nightclub. No estoy haciéndole propaganda. Es un lugar muy bien conocido.
Well, when I met him at a bar. I'm not going to give them free promotion, but it's a bar that's very well known.
Yo ahí iba los fines de semana vistiéndome de